The Odyssey, Book 22, Slaughter in the Hall. Video creators include Braxton Gorman, Ty Wright, Rand Parker, and Ainsley Gady. Starting off from the ending of Book 21, Odysseus shoots an arrow through the 12 axes, but then aims and shoots Antinous through the throat, killing him. Odysseus, still disguised as an old beggar, reveals himself to the suitors. The suitors then try to apologize and say that they have done much wrong on your lands and in your house. They eventually reveal that Antinous in fact did not want to marry Penelope, but killed Telemachus and become chief man of Ithaca. Eurymachus charges at Odysseus with a loud cry and the attempt to kill, but then is shot by Odysseus, catching him by the nipple and into his liver. Telemachus then goes to the storeroom and gets 4 shields, 8 spears, and 4 brass helmets for himself and Odysseus. Amphinomus runs at Odysseus, trying to get him away from the door, until Telemachus strikes him with his spear, stabbing Amphinomus between his shoulders and through his chest. This obviously causes a ruckus, so Odysseus tells Philotas to stand by a trap door on the wall and guard it, for only one person could attack it at a time. However, Agelaus protests and says, instead of guarding it, why don't you tell the people what has happened? All of a sudden, Odysseus spots suitors putting on armor. This leads him to suspect that it is either the woman or Melanthius against him because of him seeing the suitors putting on armor. As they suspect, it is Melanthius helping the suitors by stealing armor and giving it to the suitors. As punishment, Odysseus orders the swineherd and stockmen to bind Melanthius' hands and feet, throw him in the storeroom, and then fasten a noose around his body. Then string him close up to the rafters from the high bearing post. Then, as Odysseus spots Athena, one of his old friends, he begs her to help him with the suitors. However, Agelaus objects due to the fact that he is a suitor himself. Agelaus, Eurymus, Aphemedon, Pisander, and Polybus are still fighting on the suitors' side, but the rest have died. Spears were thrown at Odysseus' side by the suitors. However, Athena blocks these. Odysseus and his men take down several suitors. Athena now held up her deadly aegis. Liodes begs Odysseus for mercy, for he thinks he did nothing wrong, but did good. Liodes' begging was unsuccessful, and he was killed by Odysseus. Phoebus, who has been forced to sing by the suitors, tried to save his life. Phoebus begged Odysseus to spare him. Telemachus told his father to spare Phoebus and Medon, which Telemachus has now saved Medon's life. Odysseus tells nurse Euryclea to rejoice and restrain herself in silence. However, Euryclea told Odysseus about the 50 women in the house. He told him that 12 of these women had disobeyed by showing disrespect to her and Telemachus. Due to this newly found information, Odysseus tells Euryclea to tell these women to come to him. The 12 women that have misbehaved were made to carry away the bodies of the dead suitors. They cleaned tables and seats that were covered in blood, and were also told to scrub the blood and dirt off the ground. Then Telemachus was ordered to execute them all, and he said to the swineherd and stockmen he would give them a clean death after they had disrespected his mother and slept with the suitors. He then hung the women. Melanthius, who had also indulged in betraying Odysseus by stealing armor and giving it to the suitors, was dismembered and fed to the dogs. After all the cleaning and executions, Odysseus asked Euryclea to bring him sulfur and fire to purify the property. Once the other women heard what happened, they came up to Odysseus and embraced him. It made him feel as if he should like to weep, for he remembered every one of them.